Hi, I'm Meeta Radhakrishnan. I'm the director of the Tomatis Research Center at Auroville, the Auroville Language Lab. And we'd like to reach this message out to all people who work in the area of audio or even audio for films in the Indian languages, particularly Tamil and Hindi, but also the other Indian languages, because we need your help in finding the spectral display of different Indian languages. So this is to help learning of Indian languages through the Tomatis method, which is a special method created by a French doctor whose name is Dr. Alfred Tomatis, and we work with this wonderful method here in Auroville. It helps to listen like a native speaker. So the first parameter, there are actually 3 parameters when you learn, when you assimilate a language with Tomatis, but the first parameter has to do with the sound spectrum of the language, the sort of frequency analysis of the language. So Dr. Tomatis made a whole bunch of spectrograms. He made visual analysis of sounds of the language. So for example, here is a reproduction of some of his work. He found that French, since he was French, he found that the vast majority, here we have the lower frequencies to the higher frequencies. So we have the frequencies on the x-axis, and on the y-axis we have the decibels. It's the loudness. So he found that French has a very short range between 1000 and 2000 hertz. The vast majority of the French language is actually spoken between these two. There's a smaller one in the lower frequencies. Of course, all languages have all the frequencies, but it's a question of emphasis. If you make an analysis of the language, you will see that there is a kind of a focus. The majority of the language is actually spoken between 1000 and 2000 hertz for French. And what he found for English, that is British English, is that it starts where French stops, which is at around 2000 hertz, going up all the way to 12,000. And North American, for example, is here between, it has a hump. This is what he called the envelope curve, and that's between around, it's between 1500 and 2000 and goes down. Russian has a very wide range, almost the whole spectrum. Spanish is a lot in the lows, so we have here is between 125 and 500 hertz, and Italian is actually more like here, and German has a wide spectrum, but a lot of the guttural sounds of German, that's in the lows. So we're looking for the same pictures for the Indian languages, and we thought that people working already in audio in India might already have ideas about this information. So you may already be working in Tamil, for instance, in either radio station or any recording studio, and in the process of working you have all these spectral tools which are normal now in all these audio recording programs. So maybe in the process of your work, maybe you have actually seen you have an idea about where the spectral display of the language is. Where is the majority of the language, where you have the most movement at the loudest volume. What is that frequency range? If you can give us an idea based on your research, of course we'll be doing our own research on that, but we thought we could actually save time if we contacted people who are already working in already doing audio work in the Indian languages. So if you did that and sent us this information, it would really help us in our research, and it would help us to get to really teaching these languages faster.